Hi, I'm Mike Meyer, and if you want 315s on any car, just put drop spindles on it. Badass! Bam! Hey, what's up? I'm Mike Meyer from Mike Meyer Incorporated, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about how to fit the most tire efficiently under the front of your car. Everybody asks, hey, can I get a 315? Do you sell a drop spindle? Why don't you sell a drop spindle? What's up with the spindles that you sell? And that's what today's subject's about. When we decide what suspension systems we're going to do, we take into consideration how do we get the most out of what we have. Early on, we definitely explored the options of putting max front tire 315s about 15 years ago under the front of Old Blue. We had some pretty big setbacks from that though. We quickly learned that when we dropped the upper ball joint and tucked it into the wheel, it changed this angle of the upper arm tremendously. And whatever we did with it, it really took about 5 steps back on our handling. Sure, we got bigger tire, but the geometry now no longer applied the weight and loaded the tire efficiently. So we had a big setback for a while there until we started to figure out what the challenge was. The challenge is, if you don't have good geometry, you can't load the tire appropriately. So then we finally started coming back. We reeled ourselves back. We realized if we got that spindle back up and out to where it originally was, we started loading the tire much more efficiently. So that means that meant that we didn't have to put too much spring, too much shock, or too much bar to control a car that's flopping. So when we decide whether we're going to use a drop spindle or not, it's purely on how it gets the most out of the car. And a lot of people tell us, oh gee whiz, I'm not racing. But that's kind of BS. If you sit there and you're driving your car on the street, you don't really walk around and go, you know, a half-ass car is cool with me. Nah, dude, you're doing this work on your old school Mustang, whether you're track daying it, whether you're driving with your wife to the countryside, or whatever you're doing, you want the best you can get within your means. And that means you kind of got to pay attention, or at least put your knowledge into someone who has the base that's done the development. So over the years, we've done a lot of development on these control arm angles and what they do for the way the car leans into the turn. And that allows us, again, like I said, to not overspring, overshock, or over constrain the car to get the car to turn and to act right. And when you do that, the car can go over bumps cleanly, nicely, whether you're on a street or whether you're on a track, because you're finding a good balance between geometry and spring package. So our choice for the old school Mustangs is not to do the drop spindles. It's to keep that geometry where that lower ball joint, upper ball joint is, the inner pivot points where they roughly are. You can do the Shelby drop, some combinations in between. And even with our Mod 1 suspension, you can still get different length ball joints and adjust these angles to manipulate and fine tune what you're doing with your car. So when you're looking at these old schools, think first, if you don't have good geometry, you can't efficiently load a tire. I'd rather run a small tire with great geometry than a great big tire and poor geometry any day of the week. So I hope that helps you out a little bit, get some clarity on why we chose to use the original geometry spindles for the old school Mustang. And until then, I'll see you out at the track or maybe on the next YouTube video. Check us out on our website at www.mikemeyerinc.com or look at us on Instagram, mikemeyerinc.com, or just Mike Meyer Inc. Anywho, you guys take it easy. Thanks a bunch. See you later.